This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you by Insightful Accountants Be Insightful membership program. Get 9 expert-led training tracks, over 30 CPE hours a year, hands-on workshops, and year-round premium content to grow your skills and your practice. Learn more at blog.insightfulaccountant.com. Just click the premium member content button.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast. My name is Gary DeHart and I am the publisher of Insightful Accountant, the host of the Accounting Insiders podcast. And my guest today is Sharrin Fuller. Sharrin, welcome from the wilds of, I guess, are you sitting in Las Vegas right now or are you somewhere else?
I am sitting in super sunny and hot Las Vegas.
I imagine. What's the temp today?
Oh my God, we've had a rough week. We're back up in the, it's already 101. What is it? 11:30. We've had a very high week, very hot week.
Yes. Well, you do live in the desert, so.
I know. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. And it is August, right? So
True.
if it was cold,
Yes.
there'd be a problem.
I'd be worried. Correct.
Right? Yeah. So, all right. So what we're going to talk about. So Sharrin is the founder of Glass Wallet Ventures. She is a 3-time Insightful Accountant Top 100 ProAdvisor and a 2025 Insightful Accountant Top Educator ProAdvisor. So we're going to talk over the next 25-ish minutes about systemizing your firm, due diligence for a sale, and get into how do you just stop doing it all so you can actually run the business versus doing the business, right? In it, not on it, or on it, not in it.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And so, and just for a little bit of, I don't know the right word I'm looking for, but some clarity around. So Sharrin currently runs 3 companies and says she works 3 days a week, which is what we all should be striving for. I'll take that. And we're going to also touch on the clone and conquer method, trademarked, and
Yes.
then also just kind of what she does through Glass Wallet now, which is more of the focus on kind of one-on-one advisory for accounting firm or even bookkeeping firm, I guess, as well.
Yeah, anything in our accounting world.
Yes. All right, perfect. So welcome, Sharrin. Thank you so much for being here. Trying to think, probably known you maybe 3 years.
I don't know, since I came out of the corral, out of the woodworks. I think when I first crawled into this world of accounting that I didn't know existed, I think Insightful Accountant was my first. I think you're the second place I even spoke at your virtual summit, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, there we go. Yeah, and that was time does fly. So I was saying 2 or 3 years, but it's probably 3 or 4, maybe. I don't think 5, maybe 4 years.
22, beginning of 22. So yeah, a little over 3. So you were right.
Pushing, yeah. We're pushing, it's getting a little bit longer than it seems. All right.
I haven't been around that long, Gary. I haven't been around that long. I mean, I've been around, but not in this realm of things.
I have longer than I care to think about. But all right. So right now, today, what does your day-to-day look like?
I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And I try to work only 8 hours on those days, but I am also on the board for the AFWA, and I'm chairing the Women Who Count conference. So my days are looking about 10 to 12 hours, but I don't consider those work. They're donated time. So honestly, I have my 3 days a week. I work on my accounting firm, which I work very, very little really only 3 hours a week. All my time and energy really kind of goes into Glass Wallet, the advisory, building a community, the content, my clone and conquer. I'm in the middle of a book that actually I'm beyond in the middle that we'll be launching in October. And then I'm a fractional CFO for and a manager for another company that owns about 18 properties. And I'm developing a commercial property in Utah. So I have a lot going on, but I don't work anything but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, there we go. Well, you got to manage your time, or better yet, manage people managing your time.
Yes.
So what does that look like? I mean, so who's doing the work?
A lot of efficiency and technology, really. We have so much available to us that we are afraid of or don't use, but my philosophy has always been less people means more success. I know a lot of people are like, I have 100 employees. I'm like, that sounds terrible. I have 2. And it hasn't always been that way. I used to have a lot of employees, and because my employees would come to me and go, hey, I need more help. And I, of course, just want to help them. And then I got to a point, I start looking at the numbers. I'm like, this headcount doesn't match the revenue. So I went in and said, okay, everybody's gone except these two key roles, and we're going to bring in technology and some outsourcing in place. And we did. And it's really funny because our revenue actually went up, our client count went up, our head count went down to 2 people, and they used to work 45, 50 hours a week, and I felt terrible. Now they're working 30 maybe. So the proof was in the pudding with that. Me personally, I've just always been extremely organized and efficient. If I did something once, as I'm doing it, I would think this is terrible. There's got to be a better, faster, replicatable way to do this.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then I'm always been, I'll stop, I'll do it the first time. I'll take the extra time to do it the first time, document it, process it, log it, template it. So when I go to do it next time, it's done. And you just have to push in a few things. So what used to take me, for example, proposals, what used to take me an hour and a half to do a custom proposal and send it out, now takes me 5 minutes. Really just utilizing technology is as much as I can, and saving the people roles to actually speak one-on-one to people where it's needed.
Okay. So let's dive a little deeper, because that was the number one point, was systematizing. And
Yes.
so you laid a good example there of a contract, right? Here's the work I'm doing for a client. So I'm assuming that looks like here's all the stuff I have to have in the contract, right? And here's the variables, and really the variables are the only part you really have to work on.
Slightly, yes. I mean, in the
Okay.
messaging, more of it is I use a software. I don't want to mention softwares because I know they've got a lot of sponsors around here, so I'll be real careful with that. But I do have a software platform I use, and honestly, it's all about my scopes for my accounting firm. Even Glass Wallet, it's how every scope of service that I put out there is completely measurable. So I know, for example, an accounting client, if they come on, I don't care how much money you make or money you spend. That number is irrelevant. It's how many transactions am I processing? And that's, of course, for more of my cash-based clients. You could spend $1 million a month in 2 payroll transactions, and you should not be, to me, there's no reason that you should be penalized because you're spending that much money. Now, you could spend $10,000 a month in 400 transactions, and that's more work for us. So my team knows, hey, when a client comes on, they're allowed 3 bank accounts, up to 200 transactions, and that's our measurable. And it's really what's allowed us to stop scope creep, to template our process, because everything we do is templated. So I get a login, I can say, how many bank accounts do you have? How many credit cards? Okay, 5. Great. Now I know how much to charge you. How many transactions across all those? Look on your bank statement. Oh, 1,000 a month. Okay, now I know how much to charge you. So we're really just finding out these key pieces of information, and it's templated, and anybody on my team, because of that, can go in and send out a proposal, and they don't need me anymore.
Okay, great. So then what does that look like? You're bringing, let's say, well, you're sending people the other direction, but if you brought somebody on, how are they getting into your workflow? How do they learn all those nuances of your pricing structure and what to do in a day?
As in a client or a employee, or
An employee, or somebody on your staff.
you're going to love my employee even more. That's completely automated. So last time I onboarded someone, I was like, this takes 16 hours of my time to sit with them and teach them. And they have to keep asking me things. So what I did is I documented the entire onboarding process and everything that we need to teach them. And I sat and I recorded the video as if I was doing it with them, shared my screen, set it up, did the actual thing, saved it. So now what happens is the software we use, when somebody, essentially, if I'm going to hire somebody, I send them their offer letter. The minute they sign their offer letter, it gets approved. Our warehouse gets told to send them their laptop. The laptop's already provisioned with everything they need. When they get it, they have their login. And then on the day of, they're signed into the portal, and it says, here's your first task. And they go in. The first thing is set up your email. Here's a video of how to do it. So every single thing in there is completely self-onboarding. And if they ever need to go back and look, they don't have to stop and ask me, hey, what'd you say about that? They actually go back and can replay the video and watch me do it again. And we onboarded 3 people that way, and it was so successful. I had no downtime from my team. My team that was on did not have to stop and teach somebody how to use the software, how to set up their email, and it worked beautifully. So now when we need to bring people on, I'm like, sure, what do they need? Here you go.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah, even
Okay.
our outsource people.
Right. Now, what about for clients? What about when you bring a client on? How do you get them? Because I know, like our accountant, they use, I think she uses TaxDome, And
Okay.
she's like, put stuff here. We don't ever do it, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, we,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, we get her on
So
a
I'm
Zoom
a,
call or whatever, and a Teams call and send it to her that way, or email
yeah.
it, heaven forbid. But um, how do you force the client, force air
Yeah.
quotes here, to go into your system?
So with clients, to me, that first initial onboarding is really, really important, but you have to account for some people like me don't want that call. They want to just get in and get it done. So it's kind of both worlds there. I have over 250 Zaps running right now. I automate anything. If I go to do something like, for example, I need to send Slack because it's somebody's birthday, and I want to send them a gift card. That's all automated based on my calendar. I don't ever have to do that again, and I don't have to worry about missing it. So for our clients, I have Zaps. The minute they sign their proposal, there's a delay. They get a welcome email. In this welcome email, here's a loom of what we're going to do if you want to onboard yourself. Here's everything we're going to need, and here's the link. Get on our calendar. So then they book to get on our calendar, and then they're auto invited in Client Hub, which is all their initial tasks of what we need. And we let them know you could start knocking these out, or on our call, we'll do it together. I would say about 50% knock them out, and the onboarding call is a little bit more informative. Other people really need that hand holding, and we're allowed to be informative and walk it through. But either way, by the time we're off with our onboarding call, they're completely onboarding. They know us, and we've built a relationship because they've been with them on a phone for probably about an hour. But we really try to put a lot of time, energy, effort, whatever you want to call it, into that first onboarding call, because it really paves the way of the relationship with the client.
Yeah, sounds like it. And so we're going to move off of systematizing, but I will leave with the point of systematizing is either A, free up time so you can go do something else, or
Yes.
free up time so you can go do nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, and just become much more efficient and make the process, I mean, really for your clients, more efficient, more effective, not necessarily more friendly, because it does seem like you may be a little less hands off, but for some clients, that might be what I'm looking for. I don't need to talk
For
to you every
ours,
day. Yeah.
for ours, a little
Um,
niche. It is. They like to do things. We're in all different time zones. So they really like to be able to get in and do things when they can do it. And we want them to have that ability, but we're always there if they need it.
but a key part of making that successful also, I would think, internally and externally, is holding people accountable to the process.
Abs
And that's the hard part, right?
Absolutely.
And that's
We have one way we do things. Like, they're not allowed to just pick up a phone and call us. They're not allowed to just email us. It has to go through the hub. It has to go through Zoom. We document everything because we want to make sure that no balls are dropped. And you know how clients are. They come back, they're like, you told me this. I'm like, actually, here's a transcript. I never
right.
did.
Yeah.
And
No, I
it's come
didn't.
in
Yeah.
handy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it has. Okay, so let's bounce over to topic two. Due diligence for
Yes.
sell in your
Yes.
firm.
This
What
is
does
where
that
people
look
have
like?
a
Yes.
This is where a lot of companies have a hard time, or they fail. So I think, as you know, in our industry, buying accounting firms has been a huge thing in the past, like 3 to 5 years. I mean, it
Yeah.
blew up. Before that, it was very, very, you only bought the really, really large ones, or there were mergers, but you never bought the small ones. And then PE came in, and here we are, private equity. So thankfully for me, my last firm that I sold, we dealt with VC-backed startup companies. And so there were a lot of there's a lot of Series A, Series B, a lot of fundraising and such. And so we always dealt with due diligence. So because of that, it was always embedded in my mind. And my own company was ran that way. So when it came to my due diligence, we got through it in a week, and the lawyers were super impressed. And what the due diligence really looks like is organization, the back office of your files. What they're going to do if your company ever is going through acquisition, you're going to sell it really kind of anything having to do with money or transfer of
Right.
ownership. They're going to look at everything. They're going to look at your contracts. They're going to look at your agreements with your employees, your vendors, your registrations, your insurance, everything. And they judge you based on, when they ask for it, how fast you get it to them or what their access is. So in my case, they'd give me something, and I would just within 15 minutes say, here's the link to the folder, and they'd have it. So they knew I had all my stuff in order. Well, I've sat with other companies that didn't have things in orders, and I've seen the letter of intent offer drop down because the trust, or they're like, okay, we thought you were here, but you're here, and we're having to dig, which means we're going to probably have to do a lot more work. So I always tell accounting firm owners, like, first thing you do, you got to watch your contracts. Your contracts are everything if you're ever going to sell. And you don't ever go into business with anybody in any way if something is not in writing and agreed upon. And make sure you have your insurance, because those things all weigh depending on who you're selling to.
Right. That's interesting. That's actually a conversation we had internally today about just documenting some agreements that we have. We have several of these verbal agreements out that we're
Oof.
like, yeah, we need to, it's got to be written so that I understand, so that you understand what I expect from you and you expect from me.
Yep.
And, so we know at the end of the day, yeah, you did what you were supposed to do, or you didn't.
Yep.
Well, you didn't, so
And the
why should I
worst
pay you? Right.
Exactly. And the worst thing that could happen is your sale is, or your close is pending on you getting that agreement backdated from somebody who you worked with a long time ago and maybe didn't end up very well. And they're like, sorry, we need this dated. And they're like, no. And you
Right.
could lose your deal over that one agreement. I've seen it happen, more so in the bigger VC software as a service sector, but
Yeah.
that's actually happened where we've had to track people down, and that is miserable. So don't let that happen.
Okay, and do that. So let's put a bow on that. So
Of course.
contracts. So contracts. What kind
Mhm.
of just reiterate those, just like in a bullet point. So
Your
make sure your
term of
contracts are
agreements with
tight.
your clients. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
A contract. So your term of agreement with your client is number one. Number two is going to be your employment agreements are extremely
Mm,
important. Your independent contractor agreements. Any vendors that you're using, those are the top things they look at.
mm,
The next things they're going to look at is, of course, your compliance. Are you registered correctly? Are you up to date? Do you have your insurance? Are there any pending, liens on your
mm.
company? Those are the next things they look at. Those are usually less detrimental. Well, not less detrimental. They usually just, you don't see a lot of issues there. It's really those contracts that are huge. And then
Yeah.
after that, it's really just a matter of what it's going to look like. How your contracts written with your clients is really what makes or break how the whole acquisition or the merger, the sale is going to go through.
Okay. And I don't want to, not sharing any secrets, but I don't know. This is a genuinely question out of ignorance is the only word to use, and this is because I don't know. I'm not an accounting firm, so I don't
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
What does a typical agreement look like with a client?
Okay. So what I found and what I used to do month to month, right? Hey, you're my client. I want you to work with me. When you want to work with me, when you don't, I don't. I'm not holding you to anything. So month to month, here you go. And that is great from a client basis, but it's not from a selling standpoint. How it should look is you should have a 12-month auto renewing agreement. And what some accounting firm owners don't realize is, even though your contract says you are in my contract for 12 months and you have to give me this notice, you as the contract holder are allowed to let them out of that. So if you want to let your client out, you can. So you always have that option. But that 12-month auto renewing contract has more value, far more, 12 times more value than that month to month agreement. Because
Right.
what that means is when someone buys your firm, that client doesn't have to stay on. So your payout is going to be based on after the fact if they stay on. Whereas mine are 12 months. I'm handing you these perfectly brand new auto renewed contracts that these people have to be with you 10, 12 months. They don't have a choice. Here it is. So now you need to pay me the value of that because I'm out. And if they don't stay on, that's your fault because I can't control it. So it just gives you more leverage in your payout. And it also, it makes your business model a lot more secure.
Yeah. That's funny. I had a conversation with somebody earlier. I don't know if it must have been end of last week, and she was talking about that. She said, "Well, somebody looked at our firm and basically wanted to pay them out based on, I can't remember what she said, but basically based on client retention over the next
Yep.
18 months or something like that."
Yep.
And
Pretty normal on
like,
a month to month. Yeah.
yeah, just like I'm not gonna what if you lose my clients, that's not my problem. This is
Yeah.
what it's worth. And so, needless to say, that went
Absolutely.
nowhere.
Yeah, it's very normal though, and that you hear those all the time. And it is very normal when people, if somebody, I've looked at a couple firms I was going to buy, a couple I got into the process of, and I said, you don't even have real agreements here. So I'm going to have to pay you out based on retention. I will pay you 1.5 at the end of every quarter based on what stays. And it's scary for the seller because they're handing it off and they have no control. But as for the buyer, I'm
Right.
paying you 1.5. I want all of that. I
Yeah.
want this revenue. So yeah, it's just don't put yourself in that position. Get your contracts updated and make
Watch
sure that
out.
they're assumable. They have to be assumable. That's a huge thing too.
Right. That's a very good point. All right. So stop doing it all. How do we how do we start working 3 companies 3 days a week?
I I tell people one thing at a time. It becomes very overwhelming. So accountants don't like change. We're very set in our processes, regardless if our processes are redundant and manual. That's what we know because we don't want to drop balls, all the liabilities on our hands. So to tell people stop and get off of your notebook and into technology is not an easy thing. So you have to find one thing. Like I usually ask them, what do you hate to do? What is the worst thing that you can't stand doing? Okay, how about you do it one more time? And as they do it one more time, they document it, they record it, they get it done. And I'm like, great, now we can go to Upwork and find somebody that can do that one task for you all the time. And now you just saved, I don't know, an hour a week.
Yeah.
So now you can knock more off your list, or now we could use that hour to get one more thing. And it's really baby steps, but it's not as hard as it seems. It's just a little bit of hand holding and motivation and identifying what to take off your plate first and what you do when you take it off.
Okay. Yeah, because there is a lot of things on the plate, right? There's a lot of
Oh,
things that, I don't believe I'm not too good to do any of these things. It's not me. It's not, oh,
yeah,
I can't do that. I mean, I've
yep,
been doing all this stuff for the past 20 years.
yep,
It's just that where I am in my age and stage or where I am in my career, I shouldn't be doing those things because my time is more
correct.
valuable. And I think you have to have
Yes.
that mindset, right? Of I shouldn't be checking email.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And there's so many, and it's not that you have to have a person sitting there do it either. It's just you have to organize yourself in a way to where you can get in and do it. So I'm a inbox zero person, and I also my biggest thing is communication, consistency, and follow through. So I've always been very successful in my companies because as you've seen, I'm very responsive. If you send me an email, that is actually me responding. I keep my inbox clean, but that's because when something comes in, I immediately push it to my project management tool if it's a deliverable. I responded, I've got my task, and then I'll follow up when I do the task and I know when it needs to be done. But people love when they email and they get a response from me. It says, got this, received, or hey, can't get to this till tomorrow, but I will. And then guess what? They leave me alone. I don't have to respond to 7 or 8 emails of people saying, hey, did you get my email? Hey, where are we? No, they know I responded. I told them what I'm going to do it. And then I follow through on that. And that has been honestly the keys to success of any of the companies that I've had.
okay. So you mentioned Upwork and is that the only one that you would go to is Upwork or do you use Fiverr or any of the others?
I've used Fiverr in the past, but more for like not for more design things or little
Okay.
things, not security things. I did utilize Upwork when looking for outsourcing. I was testing a new way of doing outsourcing and I didn't want it through a company. I wanted to try to my process. So we used Upwork and I actually really liked it because I didn't have to let them into any of my systems. I could put everything into Upwork. They do all the tasks there. They log there. Upwork holds their payment in trust so they deduct it from you, but once you approve, then they pay it to them, which was I really enjoyed that. And it was just really nice to be able to see everything in there that they're working on. I was able to give maybe one piece instead of saying, here's this whole project. I just need you to do this piece and see how you do it and what you log time for. So it was very easy to test somebody out that way.
Okay. And what does that process really look like then? From let's say you've got your one task, whatever it is. What does that look like finding someone, finding the right person? What are the key things you're looking at to go, okay, you know what? I'm willing to give Sharrin a shot at this.
Yeah. So what I've learned when it comes to hiring is people present themselves amazingly. You could sit down and talk to somebody and they could sell you on everything. And until they sit down and do the work, you don't know if they're actually good at it, right? Especially
Yeah.
now with AI, chat GPT. So that's why I really like to test people out with something small and simple that they should be able to do and see how quickly they can do it. But with Upwork, it was really nice. So I put something up. I don't go search. I put up my ad, I make them search for me. And then I narrowed down my criteria pretty tight. And then I love that everybody gives reviews and you can really kind of see what the reviews are, see if they line up. And I did it that way. They were out of country. One was in Pakistan, one was somewhere else in India, but it worked out very well. We ended up hiring one on as not necessarily full-time, he's part-time, but as one of our permanent outsourced. He just does data entry. But he was really very attentive, and we really like him, and he's been very successful. And he was one of the ones that we tried that process out with. And like I said, it had the whole onboarding and such too.
Yeah, I like that thought of just kind of drip it out to them, right? Let them prove themselves step by step. And if I like you, great. If I don't, it's easy enough to cut you off.
Yeah. It's nice where if you take that one thing you want to get off your plate and you go, okay, now can you do this? Let's see how you do it. And they get it done. In the worst case scenarios, they don't do it right. You have to go and do it. But typically, if you have it done for them right there and they can look at it, they'll get it done correctly. That's, again, it's what I found when we tested it.
Okay. Trying to remember, I can't remember if I did this with Upwork or if it was Fiverr, but had some photos that we needed to get, like a bunch of them from Scaling New Heights maybe 2 years ago, and that we just needed to kind of get cleaned up a little bit and send it to the guy. He's like, oh, I turn around in whatever 2 days for this many photos. And like 3 days go by, 4 days go by, 5 days go by. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then finally, like day 6 or 7, he replies back, sorry, our internet's been down and like in the whole region or something crazy like that. I'm like, oh, whatever. We got our pictures back.
You're all weird. I looked on the news. Something like that, I totally use Fiverr. Like I use it for marketing or quick photo retouch because they're so inexpensive and there's so many people that do it. And I totally use Fiverr for that. For more professional Upwork, I think it's a better platform in my opinion.
Need to look into that. A couple of things I can gladly get off my plate.
There you go.
So,
you're welcome.
all right.
Hey.
Yes. All right. So let's wrap this up around my clone and conquer method, or not my,
yes.
Is it the clone and conquer method or just clone and conquer method?
The clone and conquer method. I think there is the word the. It is. I learned you have to, if you're going to go put a whole system online, you need to trademark it. Otherwise, somebody else can trademark it and you've got to rebrand your system. Don't ask me how I know.
Right. But it may have been through trial and error. All right. So what is that? And that's your focus moving forward. Did you say, or did you write, you're getting out of the accounting practice? Is that what you're selling that, right? Okay.
Yes, and it was not an easy decision, but I really am passionate about helping other accounting firm owners. So going to all these conferences, speaking, being really inside the accounting industry, nothing hurts my heart more than when I go to something like Scaling New Heights and I say, hey, I'm going to this event, like we're going to the Insightful Accountant Top 100. Are you coming? I can't. I have to go back to my room because I have so much work to do. And I'm like, what? How do you have this? Oh, I had the worst accountant. I had to fire them. And I'm thinking, all right, I want to help those people. I want to help those people be able to get out of the work and pass it on or be more efficient. And that's honestly where my passion lies. This was honestly my third accounting firm. I merged my second and third together. So, and it's so efficient. I work in it 3 days a week and that's 2 phone calls and a little bit of stuff. Other than that, nothing. It does its own. I'm like, it's ready to go. So Glass Wallet, I just did the Clone and Conquer Hub. And what it is it was originally going to be just me making videos to teach people how to take things off their plate and my systems of how I do things. Because everyone asks, how do you do this? Well, here you go. We were going to sell those videos. But then at the same time, we thought, let's create a hub, a community where I can really help people. I can bring in some of the tech partners that I use. They get access to all my content, my templates. They can tell me what they need and I can make it for them. So we have that. And then with that, right now I'm doing some one-on-one advisory, but I want to change it to more of a group method because one-on-one is not what I wanted. I don't want to do one-on-one. That's just way too much, but I will do it for a little bit. But really, it's just about teaching people how to get out of the weeds, how to let their accounting firm run without them, or let them do just the part that they love. There's all parts of our companies that we just don't like doing. For me, I can't stand the marketing, cannot stand it. Social media, don't like it, believe it or not. So I let other people do that. Otherwise, I just won't do it. but it's a lot of mindset with accounting firm owners, and I have that same mindset, so I know how to work with these people. Whereas they go to other non-accountants to work with them, and I'm like, you just don't know how accountants work. We have a different mindset than others. So I'm excited. I have a handful of advisory clients right now. We've got about 20 people in our hub, and it's just exciting. I'm excited about it. Passion project for sure.
Sorry, my son Evan, who you've met,
No.
just stuck his head in here
Evan's adorable.
with his Be Insightful t-shirt.
Aw. I need one of those because I'm a member of your
yes.
I'm a member of your premier group now.
So it'll get it. T-shirts in the mail.
Yay.
So you said you have how many now? 20, I think you said?
I have about 20 in the hub,
Okay.
and I would say I have about 5 one-on-one advisory clients. So we just barely launched this. We've been working on it for a little bit, but we just barely launched it. And as soon as Core, my accounting firm, is out from under me, I'm going in full force. But yeah, it's launched, it's up, having fun with it right now.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. Well, and how do people find that? How do people find you? We'll wrap up on that.
Yeah.
How do they track you down?
Sharrin Fuller, RRIN, always. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and then also glasswalletventures.com is everything that you ever need. My blog, my podcast, all the things are on there as well. My incoming book that will launch in October that I'm very excited about, that also tells the story of how to get to my journey to the 3-day work week, I believe, is the working title of it at the moment.
Okay, great. And that's August, you said October.
We're actually doing a book launch the Sunday before Connect starts. So that will be going out soon as well. I'm excited for that.
Oh, very good. So so I assume that you'll be at Connect. I mean, it's in your backyard, right?
Yes, I will. I will absolutely be there. I don't believe I don't have any sessions this year. They're going a different way and bringing in a lot of new faces, which is amazing for them, but I'm still absolutely going to be there the entire time. I mean, I am their top 2025 educator, right?
Well, that's us. That's our award.
I know it is, but it still says Intuit.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's intuitive.
Oh, it doesn't.
Or it's insightful
okay,
accountant. Gosh, the old school. Insightful accountant. That's us, not them. We use ProAdvisor, but I don't believe ProAdvisor is a trademark name. Trademark.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
I know that. I know actually when we started this whole process, it wasn't at the time, but we use it Insightful Accountant Top 100, ProAdvisor. So there you go. All right. What else? Anything else that we missed? Kind of going through the checklist. I think we got it all. I
don't think so. I am sharing Women Who Count in October, and I would love for everybody to be there. It's going to be a really good one. Excited about it.
Well, yeah, that was one thing when we did our pre-call. We were supposed to touch base on that. All right. So, as a man, I have to say, Women Who Count. Can I not go? Can I go? I feel so
excluded. If you love women, no, Michael Lee is one of our keynotes. We have a lot of men speakers. Honestly, it's just, it gives women a space, a seat at the table, but anybody, just like anything, there is a lot more women there, of course. I would say it's like 90%, but everybody's invited. It's just, we're all just accountants supporting each other, and this just happens to be the group. But absolutely, we have a lot of, I've seen a lot of men register. So absolutely, men are encouraged to come. We're gonna have a pool party. The after party is a pool party.
All right. And when is it?
It is October 22nd through 24th in Mesa, Arizona. So the week before Intuit Connect and 2 weeks before Hector and Carlos's reframe.
Oh, there we go. Busy time.
Tic-tac-toe. I know.
That's right. And so you said that's in Mesa, Arizona. Obviously, Connect is in Vegas. Where's Hector's thing? Is it back down? Is it in Florida or?
Florida, I think I heard.
In Florida. Okay.
I think so.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I'm sure I'll see
thanks for having me.
I'll see you at Connect. I won't see you at the other two.
Hey, and you'll see me on your cruise next year, regardless. So I will be there.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for that.
We'll have some information on the cruise following up with this. So stay tuned.
Thanks,
all right.
Gary.
Thanks, Sharrin. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Are you an accounting or tax professional who wants to stay ahead without spending a dime? Join thousands who trust Insightful Accountant and tax practice news to keep them informed and empowered. Get expert updates on QuickBooks, Xero, tax planning strategies, and workflow tips delivered straight to your inbox. Whether you're a solo bookkeeper, firm leader, or tax advisor, these newsletters are your shortcut to what's next in the profession. They're free, practical, and built for people like you. Visit insightfulaccountant.com and hit subscribe to start your smarter workflow today for free.